Stand up and speak loudly so everybody hears you.
Is there a projected tax impact on the building of this road? You know, you gave us a quote on what it would cost, but how much would that be to individual citizens of Memphis, since Dennis pointed out that it might be forbidden to have federal funds for the road, according to that Supreme Court ruling going through the park?
Well, I think the plans are, if they do decide to go ahead and build the road, that they would still plan to get 80% of the funds from the federal government. If, you know, the approvals are gained and if they go ahead with the road. So Memphis area would only pay 20% of whatever the total figure is. We don't know what the total figure is.
Yeah, y'all estimated 25 million, yeah.
You already did.
Just in development of the annual budget, we have an idea of what funding we have available, what capacity we have available to borrow funds. We issue bonds for these types of projects. So we have a budget set up. We work within the structure of the current tax framework. What it might mean is that you have to look at and prioritize different projects. If this gets funded, it may preclude some other project from getting funded. So that would be the impact. There wouldn't be any direct, more than likely, no direct tax impact on the taxpayer.
I'd like to ask Brian if there's a artificial barrier underneath the landfill to deflect the runoff into the river.
To deflect.
In other words, is there anything that was laid down under that landfill before the landfill was stacked on it?
You mean a liner?
Yeah.
No,
No
to
liner.
my knowledge, no.
What?
No.
No liner?
No.
Is that landfill then leaking right through the so-called hole in the impermeable layer that's missing?
In the breach?
Yeah.
Yes, the landfill is leaching out and is moving toward the breach in the confining unit.
Has contamination been detected yet in the aquifer from this?
There has been, I think, 2 or 3 studies that have looked at that. There's been one just recently that completed this past year. There are levels of poor quality water going to the breach, but it is below EPA regulated concentrations.
Brian, while you're up, please, you said something about more studies could be made. I've heard before that they should be made. What would it take us to get those studies so we'll know exactly where the breach is and exactly what the danger is in that area? What would it take for that? I know you have to be hired by somebody to do it.
There are mechanisms that are available now that would allow us to map what is beneath the ground without putting in a lot of holes into the ground. And by using those methods, and I'll say the university, because it's an educational institution, can do it cheaply, that area can be mapped and the extent of that breach better known.
Can't understand personally why in the world they don't go and do that so we'll know what's happening to our aquifer, especially before we build that road. Okay, thank you.
I have a question on connectivity for bikers and walkers in the Green Line, Walker Greenway. Presently, if you go Farm Road, you have to cross Farm Road grade level. And you cut through the park, you went to the Green Line Crossbone Station, you're at the Yellow House, what it's called on operation side. Type thing. I was a little confused or got lost in the discussion. How would one get from the Wolf River to the Green Line with the Parkway? I saw there was a sidewalk from Wolf River Walnut Grove Bridge but that's not where we get on at this point. And what happens, that's the first part, how will you get there? How do you transgress from my house to the greenway? Second one, with greenway, excuse me. The other one is, when we get this road, should go through the park, what happens to it on the north side of the park? I think Greg's going to address that a little bit. When they widen these other connecting roads, the Mullen Station, Whitten Road, they're kind of tiny to get all this traffic. So what's going to happen, and how much will the park lose if they'll widen those roads in the future? So that's two questions. One, what about the bicycling and walking, and what about the exit of the road when you get to Mullen Station?
I'll answer just the very first part of that. When we're coming from your house, I've been to your house, I know where you live. You cross Humphreys and you'd hop on the Wolf River Greenway and you'd go on the new pedestrian bridge that we built and the new trail that we built that currently goes up to Walnut Grove Road. Currently you cross at the red light at Walnut Grove Road, you get on the Lake Trail, you get on the North Connector and you go up to the Green Line. So John can explain what they're...
Thank you. It would be basically the same routing. There would be a somewhat of a diversion as you're coming north from the Wolf River. There will be an underpass under Walnut Grove, somewhat to the west of the existing Farm Road crossing. So there'll be a little diversion there to the west. Then you'll follow the trail system internal to the farms, north. You'll follow the internal trail system north, the park, to where the Parkway will cross Farm Road. Farm Road, there will be another underpass built at Farm Road. And as you know, right now the trail is a little bit offset from Farm Road. So there'll be a little diversion there also over to Farm Road and back to the trail. At which point you can either follow the new trail that follows the Parkway north to the intersection of Mullen Station, or you can continue up Farm Road and the existing trail to the existing intersection of Farm Road.
I thought Farm Road was going away.
Farm Road will be an internal driveway and or trail within the farm.
Under our plan, Farm Road goes away for through traffic. The northern part becomes another pedestrian route, so it's not open for vehicular traffic at all. And the southern part just goes around the lake and this garden.
When you get to Mullen Station, is there going to be an underpass there as well, or overpass?
Mullen Station, we foresee that Mullen Station and the Parkway will be in traffic signal there. So there'll be a crosswalk with pedestrian signals at Mullen Station.
Is there a future plan to widen Mullen Station?
Mullen Station is, well, not Mullen Station, I'm sorry. Whitten is part of this plan up to Macon. There's no plans right now to widen Mullen Station.
John.
There are no plans right now.
But when it is widened, it's only 2 lanes, so you have to widen it before you can go north from the green line, going south and just take 8 north side of the park to widen the traffic.
So if and when that happens, it would have to go through all these processes with the 4F and discuss that.
So there will or there won't be a traffic light at Farm Road and Walnut Grove?
Farm Road and Walnut Grove, currently there's no planned traffic light there because that will become more of a minor intersection. You're not going to have all the traffic, the through traffic that's currently coming down there. It'll be on the park.
But you did say that you had an eastbound left turn capability there, but no traffic light detected. See?
Okay. My concern is, I'm the guy that wrote that editorial. My concern is that all this new parkway and new routes leading to it are going to draw a lot of commuter traffic, so that we have huge amounts of traffic coming through the park. And what I want to ask is if we're in the process of improving the freeway, the westward traffic, the north traffic that then goes east, the traffic along 240 in the afternoon that goes east on 40, is not bad now because there was a double on-ramp put. So with all the eventual freeway improvements, the improvement between Walnut Grove and Poplar or 385 that are happening, also with the improvement of the flyover to the north, and I'm asking you, John, is there going to be another lane between Sam Cooper and Walnut Grove? Right now, there's 6 traffic lanes that go into 3. Seems to me like that freeway is going to be just wonderful to travel, but anybody needing to get to the Poplar corridor could and probably should use that. And if you leave the access across the park small, and with all the complications Dennis talks about, people will just naturally choose the freeway most of the time. So I guess I want you to comment on the freeway improvements.
There are currently plans, and I think they're working on I-240 right now. I'm not sure that they're adding any additional lanes between Walnut Grove and the 4240 interchange. But we envision the Parkway to be more for local traffic. It's not for the longer trips that would take naturally the interstate. It would be more for the local traffic from the East Memphis area, traffic coming up what's now Kirby, hitting Humphreys that wants to continue north to the area north of the park, traffic coming from north of the park that wants to go to, say, Baptist Hospital or that area.
But even now, John, the reason for the congestion is that people are coming from they're using the park for long-distance commuting. That's a fact. And if you make that thing 4 lanes and connect with a 6-lane thing all the way to the freeway, it's guaranteed that people are it's going to draw them. The idea is, I understand the idea is to widen Walnut Grove, maybe to eventually widen Mullen Station. You're going to have the park surrounded by and inundated by traffic that could go elsewhere coming through there. I mean, that's my belief. If it were just built, if it were just made to be people living where Greg lives going over to the other side, I mean, a 2-lane road like Palm would probably do. But anyway, that's my point of view.
Seemed more like a suggestion than a question. Sir,
Yes, it was.
I've got a technical question that maybe other people know. What is the speed limit for the Parkway? And the second question is, I find the use of the term Parkway interesting, especially when you relate it to the New York Parkway. As a former New Yorker, there's no relationship whatsoever, and that could be a whole other discussion that we shouldn't get into tonight.
It's called euphemism.
Okay. The speed limit proposed on the Parkway and per the agreement with the advisory committee will be posted 35 miles an hour.
ma'am?
Earlier, I heard some reference to hiring a landscape firm in Nashville. Not to get too political, I'm a little scared about how some of our jobs are really good. Contractors in Nashville, we don't have any landscapers here in Nashville. Could something be done that if this project goes through, that at least some of the construction of the jobs has to be guaranteed to stay in Shelby or West Tennessee area? The folks in Brent Road don't need our government dollars coming our till here and going to do.
Right. That's an ongoing challenge. We do have we have programs that we try to encourage, particularly small businesses, to participate. It gets into complicated legal aspects as far as bidding projects and how we bid them, especially when we're using federal dollars. We have to be careful.
Yes, ma'am.
I have been knowing personally about this road for at least 55 years.
Almost as old as you are.
Not quite. But anyway, I live on Whitten Road, have lived on Whitten Road for the majority of my life. Half a mile from where I live now, which is just below or just north of Showboat now. I'm in a little bit spot, and I need to know, there's things I want to do, but this has impacted what I've done to my front yard and such for the last 40 years that I can tell you of. So I'm ready to give up and say, to heck with it, and I'm gonna put my front yard and then by golly, they ain't paving for it.
Good.
You know, I'm just tired of it. It's a deal, you know?
That is a conundrum as we, these projects take so long to develop, and it puts the property owners in a difficult situation. But yes, if you do improvements to your front yard, as we come in to do the work, we have to consider those improvements and pay for damages.
Historically, I'm from St. Louis. Historically, roads go in, and within 5 years, they have to be expanded. You're expanding 40, 240. Is there anything guaranteed in this thing that this won't be 2 lanes today on each side, 3 lanes in 5 years, 4 lanes in 10 years?
Yeah, we can't build it fast as
Well, you cannot, maybe not, but it's really time to start thinking outside the box. It's really time to start thinking about mass transportation and cutting down on building these things like I-40s. And that thing in Atlanta reminded me of St. Louis. That's exactly what we did up there.
One of the difficulties we have with mass transit is that we don't really have the density that's required. So we're doing what we can to encourage redevelopment within the core of the city, trying to build that density into the core of the city. A lot of what the UDC, Uniform Development Code, I mentioned, again, alphabet soup, but the Uniform Development Code, which was passed a year or so back, will help us to move towards a more sustainable, densified development model. So we're trying to turn the boat little by little.
Well, is there a guarantee in there that it won't go 3 lanes on each side, 4 lanes on each side?
No guarantees in line, right?
I mean, I know it takes a while to build it.
Okay, I can ask one more question because we're being signaled that we've got to get out of the library.
God, thank you. One thing that the public here should know, and all the public should know, we have had a qualified, nationally known, almost universally known, park planner, engineer, who is familiar with Shelby Farms Park, who has said he can design a road in the footprint of Farm Road that will not cost near much, will adequately handle the traffic, will avoid many of the environmental problems that we've heard about. Well, I haven't heard of one of them that's been settled for sure that they can be taken care of yet. And he said he can avoid that. It will cost less. It will not harm the park. It will add to the use of the park. And what I am asking, and I think the Sierra Club agrees to this, let's hire that man or somebody else. Let's put all this other stuff aside long enough to at least hire this man and have him make this scientific study. He says he's done it before. He can do it this time. Let's put it aside. People, I ask you to tell your politicians or whatever to put this aside long enough to give us as citizens a chance to have a man like this look at this and see before we go into all this strain.
All right, I'm really getting the signal that we've got to vacate the building. One thing's for sure, folks, this isn't done yet. You know, it seems like it's been on for a long time, but it's not quite done yet. We want you to contact your elected representatives and let them know how you feel about it. Fill out one of these surveys. Take one of our information sheets.
Give it to me, please, on the way out.
Come and participate on our blog because people will be reading that blog and they'll see your opinions there. Thank you for coming.